Hey friends, I'm back with another video. I'm often asked about free-to-play Everquest. Is it worth it? Is it fun? How many restrictions are there? So I thought I would make a video about free-to-play by playing a free-to-play character on a free-to-play account. As you see here, it says free player, and I made a Fezzle version over here, a mage. They reached level 12 because you don't need to see the tutorial. I've beaten the dead horse. I've done enough tutorial videos of the tutorial zone, so let's not do that anymore. I've even done some fairly recently, so we are just going to play the game a little bit while I talk about what's good, what's not good, you know, all that stuff. So we're going to enter the world, and here we are on a free-to-play account, and it looks like I've got some parcels, and I'm curious as all hell as to what it is. I'm assuming it's something I sent myself at some point, so let's go take a quick look. And this brings me to show you, hey, you can still use the parcel system. So it looks like one of my alts, my cleric alt sent me this, and it's gonna replace this belt here. Yes, this one has hit point and mana regen. For sure, I am gonna use it. All right, well, this has no value. It can't be sold or anything, so I'm just going to destroy it. As you can see, there's no restriction as far as containers go. My main character, Fezzlewig, who's a 96 mage, I have do a lot of trade skills with him, and I can make these really nice bags. So free-to-play account can still use these bags with no restrictions, with these, you know, huge containers. No problem there. I could still use a lot of the jewelry. I made this with my enchanter, and I sent it to this alt, so you could still use a lot of the normal stuff that regular players use. I was able to quest this nice staff for myself, and I quested this shield too. There's no limit on like pets or anything. I do have a mercenary also, although the mercenary of course is an apprentice mercenary, gnome tank. I only get one slot, but I can still buy more slots. Even free to play can still give credit card information if they want to and buy extra slots. So we'll go through some of the pluses and minuses of using a journeyman mercenary as opposed to, an apprentice mercenary as opposed to a journeyman mercenary, because this one's apprentice, okay? It's the free-to-play accounts can only get apprentice, and at least they have confidence high now. They used to have confidence low, and those really sucked. So these guys aren't nearly as bad as how they used to be for free-to-play players. Those were just terrible. So let's go to the mercenary stats. A journeyman mercenary, their combat regen, even at level 1, starts off at like 100, 150 or some ridiculous number. And this one is only 3. So it's basically like a regular player, like a regular level 1 player who's just standing still. Their hit point regen might be 2 or 3. Okay. That kind of sucks, but you know, it's free to play. If anything, free-to-play is almost more like classic Everquest without so many of the insane perks. One of the big negatives to free-to-play is this crap right here. This thing that irritates me to no end. They just keep wanting to spam the crap out of you, and I don't know if there's a way to just make it stop. You will get spammed constantly with this stupid window that pops up randomly, sometimes in the middle of a fight, which can be very distracting and potentially get you killed. I really wish they would make this only pop up like in the top left corner or something. A courtesy to people who might be playing for free but might be considering paying. But are you really going to consider paying if the game in question is harassing you? It might chase people away. That's my opinion, you know? You could just maybe a little watermark in the corner, even just say get rid of the watermark, you know, pay for premium instead of this obnoxious window. But they really want you to go all access. They really do. They want your money, folks. They want it. But I do think having a free to play is good because it gives people a chance who are not sure about the game a chance to play it for themselves. So let's run around a little bit. And as far as spells go, I haven't noticed any limitations on spells, at least not at this level. I don't know if later on there could be some limitation on spells, but from level 1 through 12 so far I have not seen any limits at all. Of course, I don't have a mount because I haven't bought one. You don't really get access to free mounts. I don't think I have anything I can claim except for a welcome to Everquest thing. I really don't know what that is or what it entails. As you can see, I've never once claimed it. I think it's just a scroll that just says welcome to Everquest, honestly. So let's go out and explore a little bit and kill a few things. Of course, I'm only level 12, so I'm not going to really leave Crescent Reach because I can't. I'll get eaten. Num num num, all gone. So let's find some nice things that are blue here where we can attack it without getting killed immediately. If you don't want to take a lot of damage, this still works as free to play. You could do main assist and then set your tank as main tank. I can also set my pet to taunt, which may help also because they'll share between the pet and the tank. They'll sort of share the burden, so neither one of them will take a whole lot of damage at the same time. Now, I think basically with free to play, you would just have to move a little bit slower. One example being if you fight something a little more challenging and you find that your pet and or your tank mercenary takes a little more damage, you might need to stop. You might need to stop for a couple of minutes after a big fight where you're both injured really bad, where you can sit down and just regenerate your mana naturally. Not your mana, sure, but your health too, your hit points. You want to regain your hit points. So I think I'm going to go to the bear caves. Hopefully that's available right now because the bears out here are not much of a challenge. So here we go. This is going to be a nice challenge. It's yellow and as you can see, able to kill things the same, still skilling up the same, and I still have access to the store. So the only difference is, see, if you have if you're paying for premium every month, you get 500 daybreak coins as a reward, and you just automatically get them. You have to claim them actually. So you would go over here and where it says 500 reward, and you would click here to claim it. And if you were premium, it would just say your reward was claimed. But if you're not premium, it will give you these options to become premium. There we go. We leveled up. Oh, wow. XP with a bonus. I got 28% for that one solitary kill because there's a savage XP bonus right now. I think it's XP times 2. It almost seems like times 3, honestly. I don't ever remember getting 28% for a single kill. See, I didn't even just ding into 13. I dinged and I'm like a quarter into 14. This is insane. This XP bonus is insane, folks. There's also something that I noticed where the drops of treasure and stuff, whatever monsters usually drop, has doubled. So it's a great time to go out and kill stuff during this bonus, although the bonus probably won't be going on anymore by the time this video is posted because it is the 9th of November right now when I'm filming this, and this probably won't be out until 8 days later, 8 or 9 days later. So because I'm ahead and I like to stay ahead because if something happens, if I either get really sick or just don't feel like filming a video that day, or I film a video but it goes really badly and I just can't bring myself to post the video because maybe the sound was really bad or just something was just terrible about it or just didn't work out, those videos don't get posted. And look at this, I'm already the next level. 14, ding. Is this even fun? Leveling up so fast. It's like 2 or 3 kills. Boom. Okay, so I'm going to count the kills that it takes to level up. So I just leveled after that one. So this one, when it dies, it'll be 1. So this, wow, 32%. So as you could see from combat, my mercenary loses a little bit of hit points when they get hit, but it's nothing terrible. They're still managing just fine. I think I might have some buffs on them. No, just spirit of the wolf, really. Spirit of Bai Li, or whatever you want to call it. They don't even have any hit point buffs right now. So that's pretty amazing. They're doing really well for not having any armor or hit point buffs. And I'm doing fine on mana right now. It really does help that I have this nice jewelry though, and that I went and quested for my armor in the tutorial of Glooming Deep. Having equipment compared to not having equipment makes a huge difference in this game, because as you see, every piece of equipment that I have, it doesn't give a lot of mana, but it gives like between 10 and 15 mana, and it gives a little bit of armor class, it gives a little bit of hit points, so it really increases my survivability. But this is what really is helping. Each one of my pieces of jewelry has the same stats. So did I level up after just, what, 2 kills? Was it 2 kills or 3 kills? I don't know, but I'm not going to count anymore. Feel free to tell me in the comments below, how many kills was that? So are there things that we cannot use at all when we are free to play? Yes, any equipment or augments that are considered prestige, they will have this tag. Say if you inspect it, let me just inspect something a little more normal. Let's say this bracer, for example. Over here where it says lore, next to lore might say something like heirloom or prestige or some other thing, right? Well, if it says prestige, then you cannot use it if you are free to play. When you used to have a premium account, like you say paid for gold membership, and let's say this belt, for example, was prestige. Pretend it was something that you got off of a raid boss or whatever. We're using our imagination right now, so don't laugh. Well, if you go free to play, then this item might appear red or yellow in this slot. Like that whole slot might be highlighted in red or yellow or something of that nature. And that's to indicate that you are no longer getting any benefit from that. You get a similar effect if you have armor or something that is too high of a level for you to use, where you put it on and you don't have any benefits from it. It will be red or yellow in the slot, and you'll have to wait until you gain enough levels before you can reap the benefits of that piece of armor. So after killing a couple of more bears, I'm going to go to Plane of Knowledge and show you a couple of other things that you can do as a free-to-play player to make the game enjoyable for yourself. As a free-to-play player, do you still have access to some of these things that you get in Alt Advancement? So let's take a look. Let's click on Alt Advancement. And keep in mind, this is a very new account. It was created just a few weeks ago, so it doesn't have any kind of special perks or anything. See, I can't even use Auto Grant, but if I click under Special, under AA, and I scroll down, I do still have access to some cool stuff like Throne of Heroes. You can left click on that, make a hotkey, and put it in your hotbar, which I already have. You have Summon Resupply Agent, which I have access to. Summon Personal Tribute Master. I can also make a hotkey of it. Sermon. Summon Permutation Peddler. Again, I can make a hotkey of that one. Summon Clockwork Banker. Steadfast Servant. It summons a little minion that will heal and buff you. Staunch Recovery. It lets you completely recover your health and mana. This is great for like those oh crap moments when you're about to die. Lessons of the Devoted. This is a XP bonus, which I for sure don't need right now because the XP is already insane. There's also Intensity of the Resolute, Infusion of the Faithful, Expedient Recovery, Chaotic Jester, Blessing of the Devoted, and Armor of Expedience. So those are just to name a few that you can select and then make a hotkey and put it in a hotbar, and you can read which each one of those does their little beneficial things for you. Also, once you've hit level 5, you get this other free AA ability called Origin, where you can make a hotkey, and I usually keep Origin right next to Throne of Heroes. And Origin and Throne of Heroes are both sort of like teleport or gate spells. Origin takes you back to your city of origin. Mine would be Crescent Reach because that's where I started this character. Throne of Heroes takes you to the guild lobby. And again, free to play character, I still have access to it. and we're going to test it out right now because I'm going to head up to the guild lobby. Note, whether you're free to play or premium, this particular gate spell that you get has a very long cast time. There's no difference whether you're free to play or premium. You also might wonder if you can have access to the guild hall if you are free to play. So let's go take a look at that. Do we have access to the guild hall? Because we're in a guild, we are in Chamber of Chaos. So let's click and see if we can enter. Entering guild hall. So we can still enter the guild hall if you're free to play. And you can still join a guild if you are free to play. It looks like I can still click on and use the guild bank if I'm free to play as well. I don't really need anything from here. I'm just testing things to show you. I think I can even use the tribute master. Yeah. So I could still contribute to the tribute. So let's go back to guild lobby and look at some other things that we can and can't do. Back in guild lobby, we're going to plane of knowledge. In the plane of knowledge, I'm going to head over by the small bank because I have another parcel delivery. Hey, look, it's Fezzelwig. Oh wow, he sent me some money. So here's the thing, you could still send and receive things in parcel in even large amounts of money. Why did I send myself a large amount of money? Well, I want to go and buy a mount, and you could buy some mounts in world even if you're free to play and have never entered credit card information. And one of my favorite mounts is over here located at the Gulf of Gunthak, because I'm sorry, the Loosland era horses just look so plain. There's just nothing to them. They kind of look very lame. So let's go here instead. So here we are in the Gulf of Gunthak. We're going to head to the lighthouse and talk to a gnome about a mount. This is what the mounts look like, by the way. They're called drogs, and that's what I want. I want one of those lizard things, because the horses are just kind of meh. And this is the guy right here, the gnome on the right, next to the banker. And I usually filter this by cost because the most expensive drogs are actually the faster ones. And I think I'm going to just get the green drog here. It's 103,000 platinum, or 103,949 plat. So let's hit buy, and there we go. Open the inventory, and it looks like here it is. It's a drum. You could pick it up and put it in your inventory, and it can sit here in your range or your ammo slot. Then you can left click and hold, make a button, and once you have a button, you can put it here on your hotbar and then click on it, and there you go. I now have a mount. So you can still get a mount without ever using a credit card or anything, because yes, there's mounts here in the store. We click on mounts, and as you see, there's all these different mounts that you can get, like a worm. You can get wolves and wargs and all kinds of stuff like that. But they cost money, and I don't have any. Look, it says current funds 0. I don't have any Daybreak coin, so you can just buy it with platinum. You might also ask yourself if spells are any different, or buying spells is limited somehow, but I haven't seen that to be the issue at all. So I'm up here in the Plane of Knowledge library, and I'm gonna look around for some spells that I need. I also want to just dump off some of the junk that I don't need, that's just taking up room in my inventory. So when I buy spells, I always do this. I click over here on the far right where it says level. That way my spells are sorted by level, and as you can see, I'm level 15 and I haven't bought spells since level 10, because I have level 11 spells here. So let me buy up some spells. And when I'm buying spells, I usually buy it up to the level that I am. Then I memorize them all. Then I go back and I buy some more. So I'm going to buy up to level 15, obviously, because I'm level 15. Then I'm going to put them all in my book. And once I've done that, I'll buy the level 16 through 20 spells probably. So I just have them and I can scribe them into my book as soon as I level up. So there we go. The next one is 16. So I'm going to close this. Sometimes you buy a spell and it ends up in your trade skill bag. So keep that in mind when you're looking for your spells. If you ever have one of these extra planar trade satchels, or even if you buy that bag here, there's a trade satchel that you could buy from the Daybreak store as well that only stores trade skill stuff, because some of the spells end up being also useful for trade skills. So remember, if you want to memorize your spells fast, you can right-click on each spell. Instead of dragging each one slowly into your book, you could just right-click and it'll memorize it automatically or scribe it automatically into your book. It saves a lot of time. I really love this feature. So I've got all of them scribed into the book, and now you see it only shows level 16 plus spells. So let's purchase these. Also, if you want to fast purchase things, you can left-click on the spell, and here you hit buy and you see this window come up and the scroll bar. But if you just hold control and buy spells, you automatically just purchase a single spell. Likewise, if you want to buy a full stack, instead of control, you would press shift, and that would make it so you buy a full stack of whatever it is that you're wanting to buy. So I'm going to buy all my level 20 spells, and then I'm going to stop. I'm going to go and kill some more and continue talking about what is good and bad about free-to-play. Wow, they've got like a group of nothing but mages. Either that or it's just a whole lot of mages here all at the same time. That's kind of funny. So one thing to remember is if you got your level 12 plus spells, then you will have your own copy of Bind Affinity, a spell that lets you bind yourself anywhere you want. And that's a spell that I really wanted to get. Why? Because if I were to die now, I would respawn in Glooming Deep because that's where I'm bound. But I'm level 15, which means I'm too high for Glooming Deep. And I would be booted out of Glooming Deep into Plane of Knowledge. And most of the time I will, when that happens, I crash. My client crashes and I need to restart the game. So remember to have yourself bound in POK. How do I memorize this spell? Well, a fast way to memorize Bind Affinity is right-click on an empty spell gem, go down to Beneficial, go down to Miscellaneous, and there you see it, Bind Affinity, level 12 spell. And once you have it memorized, you want to target yourself, and this is where I want to be bound in what I like to call Fezzelwig's Corner, because Fezzelwig is my main character and he's standing right there. And so I like to bind all my characters here. It's just what I do. And if this is your corner too, if it's Bob's corner, if it's Ray's corner, if it's Dan's corner, then this can be everyone's corner. I don't own it. I just call it that because that's me. You know, this is my channel. So if you have your own channel, call it whatever corner you want. So don't come at me, bro. So I just want to put that out there. I don't feel like I own this corner. So anyway, so now I have bound myself. But let's say you're not entirely sure and you want to be sure. If you type in /CHAR, that's short for character info, and press enter, it'll show you bind points, the Plane of Knowledge, and Crescent Reach. The second one is your origin bind point. So if I were to use my origin ability, it would take me to, that's right, Crescent Reach. You guys are smart. And if I just gate, I would go to Plane of Knowledge. Right. Damn, you guys are good. So that's it as far as binding goes. But what if you're a warrior or rogue, you're not a caster? So there is a guy over here that can bind you. Now you can always ask. You can ask if you have an alt that's a caster, like on another account, they can bind you. Or you could just run up to this person here, Soulbinder Jera. You can hail them and say bind your soul, and they'll bind me right here. But like I said, I like being bound over there in my little corner because it's close to the small bank and everything and the parcels. And sometimes when I die or if I gate, I right away can just go here to any one of these merchants, sell things, drop things off my bank. And it's also not very far away from the guild lobby and the bazaar. So it's my favorite place to just chill. Plus, we're so close to the evil side, you could just taste the wickedness. Sorry. Cringe, I know. I can't help it sometimes because I'm a giant ball of cheese and stupidity. So here we go. Cheese and stupidity. Really, Fez? You're trying to ruin cheese now? You dumb little gnome. I'm not really trying to ruin cheese, I promise. Now, here's one of the things. if you're free to play, you can still use the loyalist of EverQuest person, but you're limited. Like, look, alt currency, I still have no tokens, even though I've had this character for a while. I don't know why you still am not accruing any loyalty tokens, but you can access them. It just doesn't do you a whole lot of good right now. So I'm earning them tokens really slow on this character. And I've had this account for at least a month because I wanted to see what would happen. And if you earn tokens, I'm assuming eventually I might earn tokens. So you can buy spells just like normal. You can buy a mercenary, even though it's only apprentice, like normal. You can interact, you can trade and send parcels back and forth, and you can use the barter system. The barter system is /BARTER, and that is one of the best things that you could do as a free-to-play player if you want to earn some plat, because I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, sure, Fez can make an alt on a free-to-play account, and then his main on a paid account can send them incredibly huge amounts of plat to buy mounts and stuff. But Fez, what about the rest of us? We're not so lucky. Well, this is true, okay? And that's why you want to use the barter system. And I think I have some things that might sell, so I'm going to try to sell them. So here we go. Here's an example. Dusty Marrow. And there's someone in the bazaar wanting to buy it. And this is an example, and I like to be as honest as possible with you guys. This is my alt, okay? I'm not trying to deceive you or lie, but many times Dusty Marrow is being purchased out there. But this is a great example for you. So we want to sell some Dusty Marrow, and you could just hold shift and click sell, and that way you'll sell all 15 at once. And you'll see here you sold 15 Dusty Marrow to Saleya for 90 platinum. Okay, search. And the thing is, that character of mine is always buying Dusty Marrow. So if you come across some, you're welcome to sell it to me if you like, or sell it to someone else. Sell it to whoever is offering the most money, honestly. Don't sell it to me if I'm lowballing the price. Honestly, do yourself a favor. You don't need to do favors for me. I'm doing just fine. Here's another thing that will sell a lot is spiderling silk. I had 20 of those, so I just made 20 plats. Sullied animal pelts. Again, hey, I love crafting. I mean, I know a lot of these is my alt, but a lot of times there's other people buying it too. And again, I'm more than happy to buy from any of you. Here's someone else. This is not me. I don't know who the hell this is, but they are offering 10 platinum for thallium ore, so I'll sell it to them. And some days in the barter window are better than others. You can always save some of your trade skill stuff in the bank and try again another day. You can also look up your trade skill items on websites like eqtraders.com and see what those items produce. Like, what do they make when used in trade skills? Because if it's something really sad and lame, then yeah, maybe not a whole lot of people will want it, and you could just sell it to any old merchant or destroy it if it doesn't seem to have any value. But if it looks like it's used in trade skills like tailoring, blacksmithing, and can be used to bring the skills up, or used to make really useful items like weapons and or armor, then chances are the value is pretty high, and you can wait until someone is offering a decent enough price. Here's another thing, Dusty Marrow. Sell that. Once you've sold a few things and you're not sure what's in your inventory that's been sold or not, you can hit the refresh button and it will refresh everything and remove things that have already been sold, because honestly it can cause some confusion. Here's some fulganate ore. Again, I can sell that. There's 8 of them, and I've got 16 platinum. There's some coarse silk. I think I already checked that and nobody's buying that right now. But again, if I feel like something is sort of valuable, I will hang on to it and check back the next day and see if anybody's buying it. If it's been like a week and nobody's buying it, then chances are you can just get rid of it. Or if you plan on doing a trade skill in the future, hang on to it for your own use. Also, the coolest thing happened while I was filming. I checked on Fez for a second, and I had some instant messages on him by someone named Mola, I believe. It was Molaa, and they said hello and that they really liked the videos and that they enjoy the channel. So I wanted to give them a shout out. Thank you very much. This was the day where we met on EQ while I was filming this particular video on this other character of mine. So this is a little hint on how to make money in the game. Another way to just make money is I loot almost everything I come across. Like, really, if you see little gems or stones or things like that, sometimes they're not useful for players and players won't buy them. But if you go to any NPC merchant here and you start opening up bags, you might find that some things have value. Now, I would never sell bone chips here because you only get 1 silver. There's going to be someone, a necromancer or someone at some point, who will buy bone chips. Hang on to bone chips, and you can get around 1 platinum each. I don't know if you're going to get much more than that unless you're on a TLP server and you've got some very desperate necromancer out there willing to pay just about anything. But honestly, I don't really see it happening. I don't really see a whole lot of people wanting to pay that much more. But a lot of times I come across gems like, well, malachite I need. As a mage, I use it to summon my pets. But there's other gems. There's diamonds, there's sapphires, there's rubies and all that. There's, chunks of meat. There's just all kinds of stuff. And you could just loot things and then try to sell them and see what has value and what doesn't. Finally, I was gonna mention something about your advanced loot system. So let's type in /adv loot, enter. And let's say you took my advice. You're like, okay, I listened to you, Fez, and I looted just about everything, but there's a lot of stuff that has absolutely no value at all. So let's do an example. Let's go to edit filters here, and let's say you were always greeting bat fur, and you realized, bat fur really has no real value, and I get maybe a silver from it, and it ends up taking space in my inventory. So what you could do is you can change it over here to never loot this item. There you go, it's fixed. If you don't want bat wings, you could do the same. Bone chips or arrows or rat paws or just anything. If you don't see it on the list, you can type it in. So let's say there's some kind of ore that's crappy that I never want to loot, like tin ore. Tin ore honestly doesn't really have much value. So with that, I can also hit never if I want to, okay? Or I want to just see if I come across it again, and I can just hit remove, and that removes that from the list. So when I encounter it again, I can decide again whether or not I want to loot it or want to never loot it. Last, I want to talk about chat channels, because that is something that I used to get wrong a lot as far as chatting and communicating with other players. If you want to see what chat channels you're a part of, type in /list and press enter. And you see here, I'm on channel new players. Honestly, I also expected to see mage on here too, but for some reason it's not there. So one thing I always tell people, hey, if you want to communicate with me and my guild, join Channel Chaos. Well, we can type in join, we can type in chaos, and we can press enter, but it says you must be a silver member to join channels other than the new player channel. So that's it. The only channel I can be a part of is the new player channel. And I would say that is about the biggest and worst handicap for being a free-to-play player. You can't join my channel, Channel Chaos. You can't even join other channels like the general channel or the mages channel, or you can't make up your own channel for your own friends. And that one seems really terrible, honestly, because it makes communicating so much more difficult. But I guess if you want to, you can chat on the new players channel, and hopefully there'd be enough people on the new players channel that could chat with you. If you want to make sure you catch everything that's said on new players channel, create a new tab is what I would suggest, and right click and go to filters and go to chat channels, and I just hit new players or all, and that way new players is going to be there. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll also put like say, tell, and guild in case I join a guild, shout, and auction. Now, if you're on the Fronavi server, don't even bother with OOC. That channel has been disabled. There is no out-of-character chat on Fronavi because it's supposed to be quote-unquote a roleplay server, but nobody that I know really roleplays. But the shout channel, that is something where if you type in /shout space and write a sentence like, hey everybody, you are communicating to everybody in your current zone. Note that if you don't speak the same language as everybody else, which everybody decided, oh, it's going to be Elvish for some reason, then a lot of people might not understand you because you'll be shouting to the zone in Gnomish if you're a gnome, or Froglock if you're a frog, in Dark Elvish if you're a Dark Elf. And Dark Elvish is not the same as Elvish, don't be mistaken. Don't be silly. Barbarians have their own language. Humans have their own language. So if you do end up on a server like Fronavi, free to play or not, your best bet is to try to learn Elvish as soon as possible. And I have my own video on languages. So I would say you don't have a whole lot of handicaps as a free-to-play player, except you do get the lower level mercenary. On the upside, that lower level mercenary is cheaper. It costs less to maintain the mercenary. So if I go here to info, I'm only having to pay, 2 gold right now every 15 minutes to maintain my mercenary, and you can earn that in your sleep. Honestly, there's plenty of loot that drops that you could sell that's 30, 40, 50 plat, and you just sell it and there you go. That's enough to keep your level 15 mercenary happy for weeks. If this was a journeyman mercenary, the amount that I would be paying would probably be more like 2 plat every 15 minutes. So these are a lot cheaper. So even if you're a premium member, but you're on a budget, you can go with an apprentice mercenary until you can afford that premium mercenary again. So I hope you found this video helpful and or informative. If you did and you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you disliked the video for any reason, you can give it a thumbs down. Whether you liked or disliked the video, I would love a comment below, because that would tell me what I did right or what I did wrong in the video, how I can improve in the future. I do know, and I'm very aware, that I tend to ramble, but I feel like that's part of me and who I am, part of my personality and why you're here. If you want someone who's completely to the point and concise, that might not be me. You might want to find someone else. Am I saying I just want to push people away? No. I want people to be here that want to be here, that enjoy my ramblings and my nonsense. Honestly, I don't know if I could ever change, and I don't know if I really want to. A lot of folks enjoy the story time and the mad ramblings. Honestly, if it gets really bad, I do try to rein it in at times, and that's what I do in editing. If I go on a tangent that has nothing to do with the game, I usually cut that out, honestly. So if you like what I do here, you want to support me, support the channel, consider subscribing if you haven't already subscribed. You can also join the channel as a channel member. Channel members get special perks and privileges, like a link to join our private Discord server. If you look in the links below this video, you'll find a link to our Patreon. Patreon members get similar perks and privileges, like a link to join Discord. You can also leave a super thanks. A super thanks is your way of letting me know that you really liked the video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and a wonderful tomorrow. And if you ever see me in world, don't hesitate to say hey.